got it that time, folks. Oh, it was small. It was small, it came off. Oh well. Which confirms my suspicion, they're a smaller fish. Oh well. Good morning, folks. Well, I deliberated for quite a long time whether I should come out today. The conditions over the last week or so have been absolutely horrendous to heat, and obviously I wanted to avoid the heat, that's why I haven't been out sooner. But I was also conscious that the fish suffer in this, or in these conditions. In fact, a number of clubs have closed lakes and stretches of river for fishing, quite understandably. So I didn't really know what to do. Anyway, in the end, I've come back to the Offord mill stream where I caught a chub on my last outing and lost some other ones. The decision was made because, at least for the first part of today, it's going to be overcast. There's cloud cover which is sort of being blown in from the coast. There's sort of a northwesterly wind which is blowing some cloud cover over the east of England. It's going to warm up quite a lot later, I think. But also, fishing this mill stream, even in the worst of conditions, it's got a fair bit of flow on it. So I thought, in terms of fish health, basically it's quite well oxygenated. I was the only car in the car park, but it seems like there is another guy fishing a little bit up from me. Whether he's dipped in here already, I won't know, of course. I got here fairly early for me. I got into the car park at 8 o'clock, which isn't early by some people's measures, but for me it is. Anyway, so I don't know if this swim's been dipped in already, but I'm going to stick it out like I did last time I was here and just plod on, and if the chub were around, hopefully we'll get some. That was an optimistic statement, wasn't it? Get one at least, yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I'll carry on setting up. I'll go over to my body cam and fill you in on tackle and what have you. So let's see how we do, shall we? Okay, we're ready to go. Now, last time I had a retro session. I brought my cane rod and centre pin reel. I don't think the rod was at fault so much when I lost the fish. There's a few mistakes by myself. But anyway, I've sort of upped the ante a bit today. I brought what is basically a light barbel rod. I can't remember, it's a Drennan. Can't read it, it's in green. I think it's a Drennan. Bought it years ago. A Drennan specialist barbel. 1 3/4 test curve, whereas the rods I usually use are more like 1.5, 1 1/4 sometimes. So it's got a bit more punch in it. 6 pound line straight through to an 8 hook. Single shot on a little sliding link there. It's just a loop of line over the main line. Bought bread flake again. As we know in angling, you can't expect to repeat what happened on a previous occasion. So whereas I got quite a few bites last time, lost 3 fish, 2 because they basically beat me, and then 1 it shed the hook literally seconds after I hooked it. Now I've got some more powerful gear today, but sod's law normally dictates that means the fish probably won't be feeding. Like last time, I've cut this bread up into little squares, and I threw some of the crusts that I cut off, I soaked them and threw them in about, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. That's odd, my GoPro decided to switch itself off. I don't know where I was. I think I was saying I got in the car park at 8 o'clock, and it's 8:40 now. Just make sure this bread sinks, because it's got a little bit of crust on it. No, it's not sinking, is it? There's obviously a bit of crust on the edge of it there that's making it a bit buoyant. I want it to sink and I want it to trundle down. Let's take that bit of crust off, see if that makes any difference. Still fairly buoyant, but it is sinking. Right, we'll have a go, shall we? And see if we can get the chub interested again. Same problem as last time, difficult cast. Oh no, that's no good. Thing is, I've got a fixed ball reel this time, so in theory that should make casting easier, but with a cast like this, that's by no means definite. That's better. And that's sort of floating down there. I'll let it make its way down. Really got this set up very well, got this rod far too low. I'll play around with it after this cast. As I said, I was really sitting on the fence about whether to come out today. The weather forecast suggested that at least for this morning it would be okay in terms of temperature for me, but I was a bit worried about how the fish were coping with this hot weather, and I chose this because I thought with flowing water it's a bit more oxygen. Well, nothing immediate has shown any interest. Whereas last time I got a bite fairly quickly. I think I have to move the chair back and see if I can get this rod a bit higher. I can see the tip okay, I don't know if you can. It's a bit buried in the sort of grasses down there. There's certainly no immediate bite. Well, while I was mucking about, I wasn't looking, but swan families arrived. Probably see them. It's the same one, well, the same family that was here last week. 3 cygnets and 1 adult swan. Probably come down to see if I've got any food for them. Be careful because they dive down and they could well see the bread on the bottom. I'm going to let them meander off a bit before I carry on fishing. Yeah, although I only got 1 chub on the bank last time, I had plenty of opportunities. Not sure it's going to be the same today. It's the thing with fishing, you can never I think something had a go at it then. Watching the light there. some weed on my line. I can see the weed bobbing up and down. Don't know whether to strike or not. May just be small fish. I don't know. Whatever it was, I missed it. Interesting. The reason I sort of went for that was the chub bites last week were far from positive. The first one was fairly positive, but after that the others that I hooked, they were just taps. So I'm sort of going for everything at the moment. Didn't mention I got my Shimano bait runner on here. It's a bit overkill really, but does the job. Oh no, that's nowhere near where I want to be. Interesting, leaving that slack line like that, it was a good indication of bites. Oh, that's a lovely one. Something going to go here immediately. Bang, bang, bang. There we go. Oh. Thought I had something on then. The line's got all caught around me bloody reel. I felt that. I've pinched the bread a bit more lightly this time, see if it perhaps float further down the swim. Oh, we got it that time, folks. Oh, it was small. It was small, it came off. Oh well. Which confirms my suspicion, they're a smaller fish. Oh well. The line's a bit twisty around the top of the rod. Yeah, I thought, oh, bloody swans are right back where I'm fishing now. I'll have to wait for them to move on. Too dangerous putting bread down there while they're doing that. Well, we hooked it, but it wasn't a big chub, folks. So we're going to have a little pause while the swans decide what they're going to do. Well, the swans have moved upstream a bit, that's good news. Yeah, that fish that came off was not big, so it sort of confirms my suspicions really that the bites I've been getting have not been big chub. Swans are coming back down again now, would you believe it? Oh, Jesus. No, I can't leave that bread there. No, I can't leave that bread there. They were here last week, but they just swam through. But today they keep going backwards and forwards. Pain. When I say backwards and forwards, literally backwards and forwards in front of me, not backwards and forwards up and down the stream. There's a risk I'm underdressed today, you know. Feeling a bit chilly after a week of absolutely sweltering heat. It's actually a bit chilly today. They say the sun is going to come out around midday, so should warm things up a bit. This happened to me a few years ago actually, when I was sort of early years of fishing this stream, probably 3 or 4 years ago. I lost a couple of decent chub. I think it was actually in this spot, although it looked quite a lot different then. Certainly a lot less of this sort of these rushes in the centre. But I lost a couple of decent fish, and I did what I sort of done again today. I came back with a more powerful rod and heavier line. Didn't get a bite. But the line I had on last week was, not sure if it was 5 or 6 pounds. It wasn't much different to what I've got on today. So line wise, there's not a lot of difference. This is weird. When I fished here last time, I never got a snag once. Getting snagged every time today. I'm considering moving because all I'm getting is small fish nibbling at the, what's that it's called? Oh, I'm caught on a bloody rush down there now. Yeah, I'm just getting small fish nibbling at the bread. There's no sign at the moment of the bigger chub being anywhere to be seen. Well, I was somewhat reluctantly moved, but I'd been nearly 2 hours in that first swim. Other than what obviously small fish were, there was nothing else. Now, interestingly, this is a new swim. Now I have fished this one before, to be honest, but it was never like this. It was a matter of forcing yourself through the undergrowth, and there was just a little spot you could stand, but now it's all been opened out and really heavily fished. Obviously this bridge swim used to be very good for chub, but I should think with the amount of fishing that's gone on, I mean, so once upon a time I used to fish it from further up because none of this was open. And this rush bed here, when you were fishing it from further up, I lost a couple of chub in this, but now of course we're downstream of it, which makes life easier, but I don't know, I get the feeling it's been heavily fished and I'm not sure about our chances, but to be honest, I could have stuck it out up there, but normally if they're a decent chub in the swim and you haven't scared them, they usually let you know fairly quick. So I was starting to get a bit despondent really, so I'm going to spend, it's 10:30, I'm going to spend a couple of hours here, see what happens, and then probably call it a day. I never saw any chub from the top of the bridge earlier on when I walked over it. And last season, whenever I came here, there were always chub under that bridge, so I get a feeling that this has all been somewhat overfished. But we'll see what happens. I think this used to be their refuge, the chub, because when I first fished this stream, you could only really fish it from further up. So all this bit, they were sort of protected, if you like, or felt safe. Yeah, it's all very well preparing all these swims and making them easier to fish, but sometimes when you're after chub, it's better to have to work your way through all the undergrowth. Can you make it too easy and the chub just decide not to bother? I've got more bread, by the way. I just only cut up a certain amount. Yeah, after all the action last time, this time's it's not going so well, is it, folks? It just goes to show fishing is very unpredictable. I caught my best chub from this stream out of this swim, or one of the swims along here. I'm not sure this swim existed then. You couldn't get to this bit then. But it's just under £5. Oh, it's floating, isn't it? Oh, it's come off again. What's wrong with my bread? Let's get a fresh bit out there. Something's having a nibble at that. Let's see if anything big takes it. No, just little ones. I'll get a fresh slice out of the I brought the loaf with me. I'd cut up some of it into the squares, but not all of it. Plenty of bread. Just put it in here, just keep it as fresh as you can. I find this Warburton's bread lately, I don't know if it's because our local Tesco or whether, but it never feels as fresh as it used to. Let's see what we can get. That's not a very big bit of bread, is it? Never mind. Let's see, I'll just hold the rod, shall we? It's much the same as it was upstream. That I'm getting taps. Which are almost certainly smaller fish. Let's try a bit of cheese paste. It'll stay on the hook a bit longer. If there's anything half decent down there and it fancies feeding, then This might do it. Well, I think I'm starting to conclude that either the chub in this stream have moved around a bit, or they're not here, or they're not feeding. I'm getting his bites from these little ones. I don't know where to walk up the top of the stream where the guy was fishing earlier. Perhaps give it a go. But obviously he'd caught a couple of chub out of there, so but it proves they were actually in that location. Because none of this is working, is it really? Oh, something came up to the surface over there. I don't know what it was. It looked interesting. There's no going, is there? As I say, if there was a chub down there, looks like the bait's off the hook anyway. Ah, dear. Yeah. Not working, is it, folks? Okay, well, I'm back where I started. Yeah, oh really. It's going to be one of those days, I think. Yeah, all I was getting was little taps from the other two places. So I don't know if the bigger chub are just not playing ball, or whether they've moved out or what, I don't know. It's 11:30. Perhaps give this half hour a bit more, and yeah, as I say, I think it's one of those days today. It's not as if I needed to give this spot a rest, because I didn't actually catch anything from it. I had one small fish on which came off. It's probably a chublet or a dace. This upstream wind is a bit of a problem. Last time I was down here it was a downstream wind, but today it's an upstream wind. Yeah, it's turned out to be a bit of a roving session. That wasn't my intention. But I've cut my tackle absolutely down to a minimum now, so roving's a bit more feasible. In fact, probably a third of the weight is camera gear. It's just weird, isn't it? The last time I was here I couldn't not get bites, but this time. There's a knock. It's just a knock. Trouble is the wind is blowing the rod top around. Keeping it as low as I can. be honest, I started off this season quite well really. I caught a couple of chub on the first day down on the St Ives chub stream, and then when I came here I managed to get one decent chub on the bank, but lost 2 others. So it weren't really a bad start to the season for my summer chubbing, so I was probably due a bit of a wake up call. It's never that easy really. See, this is what I was getting last time. I got a couple of sharp taps on that when it first went in. And nothing, mind you, with the wind blowing like it is, it's difficult to see anything now. I think the water level may be down on last time I was here. It's difficult to tell, but it's certainly, I've got a much clearer view of the bottom today than I had last time I was here. You can see all that gravel over there, as clear as anything. Something just hit the cheese paste. But it was only one tap. Need a bit more than that. It was quite a firm tap. The lady just went past with her dog, wondered why I was talking to myself. The trouble, they don't realise you've got a microphone under your chin. They think, what's he chatting on about? Right, let's try another bit of cheese paste and then we'll get another tap, but we're not going to hit them on one tap, are we? Not going to happen. Right. Oh, it was on the hook. It went round quite well. It was on the hook, but it was about 3 inches long, and it just flew off. Yeah, I think that sort of confirms it, folks. And that was on cheese paste. So if that's the sort of tiny fish that are tackling me cheese paste, I don't think there's any chub down there. Oh well. As I say, it was good to come out and it was good to try, but I think it's beat me today. I'm not sure if the chub, as I say, the guy who came here early this morning caught a couple, but I don't know. They've beaten me. Right, pack my gear away. Oh, by the way, I never really mentioned at the beginning, after the loss of that fish last time, because I had quite a small net, but it was more of a problem because it was so shallow, as someone pointed out in one of the comments, and the fish sort of opted out of it. So this time I bought my corum. It sort of it breaks down into what they call it now. It's quite easy to sort of carry. It's a bit difficult to do this while I'm sort of sitting here. I'll show you. Bloody long thread. My quick release things that I usually use don't really work on this net because the thread is so long they don't quite get to the end. Yeah, you see it sort of folds like this, so it's nice and easy to transport. But it wasn't needed today. Yeah, there we go. Well folks, yeah, it didn't quite work out today, did it really? I think the decision was right coming to, I knew this stream would have a bit of flow on it and it'd be more oxygenated than a lake certainly, and a slower moving river, so I think that was a good decision. And coming back to the spot where I had quite a session with chub on the previous visit, which was only just over a week ago, even though I only got one on the bank, I had quite a few bites and quite a few tussles. Yeah, I thought it was a good decision, but today it didn't work. I was getting bites, but I'm sure they were all from small fish just tugging at the bread. I hooked a couple, one fairly early on that fell off, and one right towards the end that sort of flew off as I was reeling in, and it was about 3 inches long. So I think that's what was having a go at the bait. Yeah, and I didn't even stick in one swim this time. I sort of roved around a bit, which I hadn't planned to do, but that didn't make any difference either. So yeah, not a very good day really in terms of fish, but I wanted to get out. I'd sort of been confined to quarters. I hadn't been doing much at home, to be honest. I didn't even want to go out walking because it was so damn hot. So I just needed to get out. And to be honest, I wanted some fresh air, but the fresh air today was a bit too fresh. I was actually quite chilly. Yeah, there was a very, very sort of gusty northeasterly wind, and the sun is now just trying to get through, but initially, or up until now really, it didn't succeed. And yeah, it was actually quite chilly. So sorry, no fish, but we need to try these things, don't we? Yeah, anyway, so thanks for watching if you got this far, and thanks to the subscribers as always, and to those of you who like the videos and comment on the videos, much appreciated. So I don't know what the next thing is. Yeah, we'll just see what the weather does, because I don't think the hot weather's completely gone away yet. So as I say, I don't know what the next thing is, but I will be out again, that's for sure. So thanks for watching as always, and bye for now, and cheers.